Good morning, class. How are you today? Did you sleep well last night? Are you ready for our new lesson? In this lesson, you will learn about the different food preservation and foods that can be preserved and what are the benefits of doing it. Do you have fruit trees in your house? Do you able to consume all of it? Do you sell it or just throw it away? What different ways you do to preserve it for future consumption to avoid spoilage? Before we start with our lesson, let me remind you again, class, of the following so that our lesson or discussion will run smoothly. Number one, always turn off the microphone. Just turn it on if teacher tells you. Number two, pay attention. Number three, raise your hand if you want to answer. Do you understand, class? Let us start our lesson with a song. Let us sing food preservation song in the tune of It's a Small World. Do you know that song, kids? Are you excited to sing? So what are we waiting for? Let us sing. There's a lot of food we can find at home. We can find outside everywhere we go. We can cook what to do. Let us make something new. Food preservation will do. You can try under the sun. Oh, it's raining. Oh, and it's fine. You can freeze them, do some salting. Food preservation is fun. Did you have fun singing, class? What is the song all about? That's right. The song is about food preservation, which is our lesson for today. Are you ready now to learn food preservation or the different ways how to preserve food? So let us start now. After singing the song, let me check first your prior knowledge about our lesson. So all you have to do is choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer in our chat box. For number one, what do you call the prevention of spoilage caused by growth of microorganism in food? The choices are A. Food presentation, B. Food planning, letter C. Food preservation, D. Food preparation. Number 2. What do you call the process of preserving food by soaking the raw ingredient in salt and water solution? Letter A. Natural drying, B. Artificial drying, letter C. Dry salting, or letter D. Brine salting. Number 3. It is a food preservation technique wherein the food is placed under very low temperature. Letter A. Drying, letter B. Salting, letter Z. Freezing, and letter D. Smoking. Number 4. Which of the following is the benefit of food preservation? A. It extends the shelf life of food. B. It can be a source of income. C. It keeps the nutrient and texture of food. D. All of the above. Number 5. What is the difference between dry salting and brine salting? Letter A. Dry salting is soaking the new ingredient in salt solution, while brine solution is rubbing the salt directly in the food. B. Dry salting is rubbing the salt directly in the food, while the brine salting is soaking the raw ingredient in salt solution. C. Dry salting is for dry products while brine salting is for the wet products. D. Dry salting is for wet products while brine salting is for dry products. Learning task 2. Given the following raw main ingredients, choose the possible food preservation method to be used in the products that can be made. Write your answer in your paper. For learning task number 3, you have to classify the following food as meat, seafood, or vegetable or fruits by putting them in their proper column. Write your answer in your paper. Let us find out what is the meaning of food preservation. Food preservation is the prevention of food spoilage, which is caused by the growth of microorganisms in foods. This is used to extend the shelf life of food products. Some ways to preserve foods are the following: drying, salting, and freezing. There are different ways of food preservation. Number one is drying. Drying is a food preservation wherein water is drawn out of the food either naturally, as shown in picture number one, placing under the sun, or artificially, as shown in picture number two, using an oven and setting the drying temperature under 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. The moisture removal prevents food spoilage. This is also the easiest and common method. It can be traced on the idea of Egyptians and an ancient way of food preservation. Fruits, vegetables, fish, and meat can be dried. These are the examples of dried food. We have daing, tuyo, dried pusit, dried raisins or dry fruits. We have dry shrimps or hibi, and dried beans. These are the procedure for sun drying. Number one, prepare the food to be dried. Two, cut the food evenly to dry them in equally related rate. Three, for meat, you may treat them with salt. Four, lay out the food properly in a tray. Make sure that the food pieces are not overlapping to avoid uneven drying. 5. Cover the food with mess to prevent bugs coming in. 6. Place the tray on your backyard or any preferred place where it will be exposed to the sun. 7. Turn the food occasionally once a day for equal drying. Number 8. Wait at least 2 to 4 days until the food is completely dried. 9. Check the food. If there is still moisture, it needs more time under the sun. And lastly, when already dried, store them in an airtight container or plastic bag to make sure no moisture gets in. For artificial drying procedure, number 1, prepare the food to be dried. Wash them thoroughly. 2. Cut the food evenly to dry them in equally related rate. 3. For meat, you may treat them with salt. 4. Lay out the food properly in a tray. Make sure that the food pieces are not overlapping to avoid uneven drying. 5. Set the oven to the lowest setting or 50 to 62 degrees Celsius and put the food in the oven. 6. Close the door and allow the food cook for 10 to 20 hours. Check them occasionally, rotating them once in a while. You may adjust the temperature to 90 degrees Celsius for faster drying. 7. When dried, check the texture of the food. If there is no more moisture left, you may store it inside an airtight container. Another food preservation technique is freezing. Freezing is placing the food under very low temperature to prevent the growth of microorganisms and maintaining the freshness and nutrients of food. Freezing can be used in meat, fish, fruits, and vegetables. Freezing is the most convenient way to preserve food. These are the procedure for freezing. Number 1. Select the food to be frozen. Make sure they are fresh and free from bruises. 2. Wash the food thoroughly. 3. Peel and cut the food and place it in a container. 4. Place the container inside the freeze. Remove it from the freezer when the food is ready for consumption. Another food preservation technique is salting. Salting is a method of preserving food by using salt. It is commonly used in meat, poultry, fish, and seafood. There are three common methods of salting. 1. Dry salting. Dry salt is rubbed on fish or meat directly. 2. Brine salting. The fish or meat is immersed in concentrated brine. Brine is a mixture of salt and water. This method can be used in producing salted eggs. 3. Combination. Dry salt is rubbed on fish or meat followed by immersed in brine solution. Here are the products from salting. Salted eggs, bagoong isda, murong mangga, patis, and dried fish. Salting procedure. For dry salting, number 1, measure the amount of salt to be used. Example, for 10 kg of fish, you must use 3 to 4 kilograms dry salt. 2. Wash the food to be salted. 3. Place the salt in container and lay down the food to be salted. Rub the food with salt. Make sure to cover all the layers of meat or fish with salt. 4. Secure the food inside the container. 5. Salting time varies from 3 days to a week, depending on the size and type of food to be salted. For brine salting, 1. Prepare the brine solution by mixing salt with water. Use 3 cups of water for every cup of salt. It's better to use fine salt for it dissolves faster. Number 2. Prepare the food to be salted. Clean the food thoroughly. 3. Soak the food in brine solution. 4. Stir the brine mixture every 20 to 30 minutes. Brining will take as little time as 30 minutes for light salting or up to 24 hours for medium salting. And number 5, after drying, allow the food to cool for at least 6 hours. Now, let us discuss the benefits of food preservation. 1. It extends the shelf life of food by preventing spoilage. 2. It gives the nutrient and texture of food. 3. Seasonal fruits are made available whole year round. 4. It can be source of income. 5. It contributes to better nutrition for the family by preventing scarcity of food. Balanced meals may be attained only if there is a year-round supply of fruits and vegetables. And lastly, it helps in the economic development of the country since the excess foods can be preserved and sold in the market. Now that you know what is food preservation, what are the food that can be preserved, and what are the benefits of food preservation, I know you are ready now to answer the following activities. Ready now, kids? For learning task number 4, you have to identify the food preservation technique that is used in the following products. Write your answer in your notebook or chat box. Congratulations! You did a good job in learning task number 4. Let's see if you really understand our lesson. For our learning task number 5, all you have to do is write down the benefits of food preservation in the graphic organizer. Do it in your notebook. Ready? Go! I think you are ready now for the learning task number 6. Given the following situations, you can identify how food preservation became useful or beneficial. Write your answer on the table below using your notebook. Good job, kids. You learned something from our lesson. Let's see if you can summarize our lesson for today. What is food preservation? What are the 3 ways of food preservation? What are the benefits of food preservation? Can you answer it, kids? We are now in the last part of our lesson. To assess if you really learned something from our lesson today, you have to answer the following. You have to identify the food preservation method employed in the following scenario. Write your answer in your notebook. I'm giving you 5 minutes to answer it. Congratulations, kids! You are all awesome. For your additional home activity, make an essay on how food preservation is beneficial for you or to your family. Cite specific 5 examples. Write it in your notebook. Be ready to read it on our next lesson. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everyone. This is teacher Evangeline Santos signing off. Bye.